Before the miracle, before the lion's den, before the visions of kingdoms and beast, there was a boy, a war, an exile, and a decision that would shape the course of empires. Daniel's story didn't begin with lions or visions. It began with loss. Jerusalem, God's holy city, was burning. The temple was looted. The streets that once echoed with worship now wept with the cries of exile. Among the captives, a teenage boy named Daniel, torn from his home, torn from his family, forced to march 900 miles to the heart of Babylon, the empire of idols, of pride, of power. Babylon dazzled the eyes. Towering gates, golden statues, gardens that hung in the sky. But beneath the splendor was a kingdom built on conquest and compromise. Daniel was selected, gifted, noble, intelligent, to be trained in the king's court. They changed his name, tried to change his faith, offered him luxury, the king's own food and wine. But Daniel refused to be defiled. He chose vegetables and water, a quiet rebellion, rooted in faith. And God honored it. He and his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, grew stronger, wiser. They stood out in a city that swallowed others whole. Then came the dreams. King Nebuchadnezzar, the ruler of the known world, woke in terror. A massive statue, gold, silver, bronze, iron, and clay, shattered by a stone not cut by human hands. No one could interpret it. No one, except Daniel. "There is a God in heaven," Daniel said, "who reveals mysteries." He told the king what the dream meant. Empires would rise and fall. Babylon, then Persia, then Greece, then Rome. But one day, God himself would establish a kingdom that would never end. Nebuchadnezzar bowed before Daniel, promoted him, praised his God. But power has a short memory. The king built a golden statue, all gold, as if to say, "My kingdom will never fall." He commanded all to bow, but Daniel's three friends stood tall. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. They were thrown into a furnace, hotter than death itself, but they did not burn. A fourth man walked with them, one who looked like a son of God. When they came out, not even the smell of smoke clung to them. The king was humbled for a moment. Later, he had another dream, a great tree, cut down, a warning. Daniel pleaded, "Repent, humble yourself." But Nebuchadnezzar didn't listen. One day, as he boasted on his rooftop, judgment came. He lost his mind, lived like a beast, ate grass, until he looked to heaven and declared, "God reigns." Only then was his kingdom restored. But his successor, Belshazzar, learned nothing. He threw a party using the sacred cups from God's temple, mocking what was holy. And then a hand appeared. It wrote on the wall, "Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsin. God has numbered your days. You have been weighed and found wanting. Your kingdom is divided." That night, Babylon fell. A new king arose, Darius the Mede. He saw something in Daniel: integrity, excellence. Out of 120 satraps, Daniel was chosen as one of 3 top administrators, and the king planned to promote him over them all. He planned to set him over the entire empire. That's when the whispers started. Envy in the royal courts is a deadly game. The other officials hated how Daniel, a foreigner, a Hebrew, was favored over them. But they couldn't find anything corrupt in him. No bribes, no scandals, no moral failure, until they realized if they wanted to destroy Daniel, they'd have to go after his faith. The officials devised a clever plan. They approached the king with flattery and deceit. "O King Darius, live forever. Let a royal decree be issued. For 30 days, no one may pray to any god or man but you. Violate this law, and they shall be thrown into the lion's den." Darius, perhaps blinded by pride, agreed. He signed the law. In the Medo-Persian Empire, a law once written could not be revoked, not even by the king. What did Daniel do when he heard the law? He didn't protest. He didn't go into hiding. He didn't even change his routine. Daniel went to his room, as he always did, opened the windows toward Jerusalem, and prayed. 3 times a day, calm, unshaken, nonchalant. Not because he was unaware of the danger, but because his peace wasn't tied to circumstances. He trusted God more than he feared man. And of course, they were watching. The officials caught him in the act and rushed to the king. Darius was devastated. He realized the trap too late. All day he tried to find a way out, searching the law, pleading with advisors. But the decree stood, and at sunset, with a heart full of sorrow, the king gave the order. Daniel was to be thrown into the den of lions. As Daniel stood at the edge of the pit, the king said something remarkable. "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." Even Darius could see the difference in Daniel. A stone was placed over the entrance. It was sealed with the king's own ring, and the night fell silent. The palace was quiet, but the king could not rest. No entertainment, no food, no sleep. His thoughts were fixed on Daniel. Meanwhile, in the darkness of the den, Daniel was not alone. God had sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions. The predators that could have torn him apart lay still, because the God Daniel prayed to was not silent. He was present. At the first light of dawn, Darius ran to the den. "Daniel, servant of the living God," he cried out, "has your God been able to rescue you from the lions?" Then came the answer no one expected. "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths. They have not hurt me." Daniel was lifted out, unharmed, not a scratch on him, because he had trusted in his God. The conspirators who tried to destroy Daniel were thrown into the same den, and this time the lions did not remain still. The trap they set had become their own fate. Then King Darius issued a new decree to all peoples, nations, and languages. Fear and reverence the God of Daniel, for he is the living God. He rescues and saves. He performs signs and wonders. And Daniel continued to prosper, a survivor of exile, a man of prayer, a man of peace. Daniel's story isn't just about surviving lions. It's about standing firm when your faith is tested. His nonchalance wasn't arrogance, it was peace, anchored in trust. Daniel knew who he was. He knew who his God was, and that's what made him calm in chaos, nonchalant in the face of death, because he walked with the God of life. And so can we. If Daniel's faith inspired you, consider subscribing for more Bible stories brought to life. Share this video with someone who needs encouragement today. And remember, if God is with you, who can be against you? Subscribe for more stories.